Well, it's a fine evening here in Kingston. It's the 8th of November and it's still 16 degrees. That's 61 Fahrenheit for my American friends. I'm at Portsmouth Olympic Harbour, the site that was built for the 1976 sailing events of the Summer Olympics, which had been held otherwise in Montreal and its surrounds. Portsmouth Olympic Harbour is important in the days of maritime trade, which Kingston was famous for. It was one of the stages on the mail runs up and down the lake. But of course, with maritime trade goes maritime risk. And Kingston is famous, amongst other things, for the number of shipwrecks that divers can visit. But where there are shipwrecks, there's also a coast guard. And the rather splendid building behind me is the headquarters in Kingston of the Canadian Coast Guard. We're going to look at it in a little more detail in a moment, but I just want you to note, before we do, how cleverly the architect designed the building. As we fly around it, you'll see that its colours and its overall shape mimic that of a Coast Guard cutter. The typical Canadian Coast Guard ships, the icebreakers and the other larger ships like the Griffin, which is a buoy tender, and the Limnos, which we'll see, it was visited here recently, a survey and research vessel, are typically red and white overall with classic lines. So let's go look at the Coast Guard station in Kingston and at the Cape Lambton. Construction of this station began in 2018 and it was ready for service for the navigation season of 2019. The new station is a considerable improvement on the old one, which we'll see in a moment. As we swing away from the new Coast Guard station, let's have a look at the one it replaced and what's left of that site now. Rising above the harbour breakwater, we begin to see the Cape Lambton. Named for a location on the south side of Banks Island in the Northwest Territories, Cape Lambton is one of 36 search and rescue vessels of the same class used by the Canadian Coast Guard. With a crew of 4 and twin diesel engines capable of propelling her up to 25 knots, she has a range of 200 miles. The other vessel commonly found in Kingston is the rigid-hulled inflatable Zodiac Hurricane, capable of up to 50 knots with 2 twin Yamaha engines. This is a remarkably fast rescue boat. Occasional Coast Guard visitors to Kingston include the Limnos, a survey and research vessel, and of course the Canadian Coast Guard ship Griffin, a buoy tender, regularly works at the beginning and end of each season. And the midshore patrol vessels of the Hero class. Here we see the Corporal Tether. In closing this short video, it only remains to say thank you to the men and women of the Coast Guard who work tirelessly to keep Canadian waters safe for boaters and sailors of all stripes. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing in order to see more like this in the days ahead.